For those of you who love Uber, listen up, because there may be a security problem when it comes to your information, specifically your location. A former Uber security expert is speaking out about what he feels are some serious flaws in the company's security department. I'm Sasha Wood, here to tell you what may be happening when you use the Uber app here on I.O. Ward Spangenberg was an Uber forensic investigator before he was fired, but he is now suing the company for age discrimination as well as whistleblower retaliation, as he claims he is being punished for speaking out against the company's lack of security surrounding customer data. During his court declaration in October of 2016, Ward stated, "Uber's lack of security regarding its customer data was resulting in Uber employees being able to track high-profile politicians, celebrities, and even personal acquaintances of Uber employees, including ex-boyfriends/girlfriends and ex-spouses. It could also be contested that Uber is currently allegedly tracking the location of customers even when they are not using the app, a feature active unless you go into the settings and turn it off. Otherwise, the permission reads, access to your location will be available even when this app is in the background." Spangenberg was also upset by the fact that Uber allowed what he called all employees to access the information instead of a small security team who would then pass that information along to the drivers. Though some would argue, if that was the case, that in a company with this current size and structure, this kind of additional security could make them less effective and definitely slower. And one of the things giving Uber a competitive edge is their speed. Ward began to voice his concerns in March of 2015, claiming these practices were reckless and illegal. He was let go 11 months after he began voicing his concerns. Uber has denied these claims, stating that regular employees do not have access to this level of information. However, 5 former Uber security professionals claim that this is not the case, and that Uber's policy is actually based more around an honor system. One of these statements reads, "When I was at the company, you could stalk an ex or look up anyone's ride with the flimsiest of justifications. It didn't require anyone's approval." Spangenberg also claims the company deleted files that could be used against it prior to government raids of foreign Uber offices, to prevent a clear picture of the company's procedures being gleaned, as it actually varied from location to location. Uber responded to all of this with the following statement, "We have hundreds of security and privacy experts working around the clock to protect our data." Despite this, they have admitted to having had to fire people for what is called improper access, although they say that that number is less than 10. On top of this, the company recently had to sign an assurance of discontinuance for their tool known as GodView, wherein Uber had an aerial view of cars in the city and the personal information of the riders in said cars. This was brought up as an issue since this did not keep users' information private. As part of the settlement, Uber stated that they removed all personally identifiable information of riders from its system that provides an aerial view of cars active in a city, and has limited employee access to personally identifiable information of riders, and has begun auditing employee access to personally identifiable information in general, which is personally kind of terrifying because it says begun to audit company information of people accessing, which is a terrifying statement. Particularly so since that implies that that was not always the case. Since these changes, the name of the tool was modified to HeavenView. Uber says, "Uber continues to increase our security investments, and many of these efforts, like our multi-factor authentication checks and bug bounty program, have been widely reported." So is this just a case of growing pains with a company that must heavily rely on having to access personal data in order to function? Are such lapses acceptable given the company's growing nature? Or when this type of information is at stake, is any breach too much? What could be done if this information was improperly accessed is pretty terrifying. Honor systems are all well and good, but as any company grows, certain measures need to be put into place. Uber says access to company information is not as much of a free-for-all as Spangenberg suggests, and is logged and audited, but some of their earlier statements also appear contradictory. I guess it comes down to whose word you believe, and how much can be proven by either side. Is Spangenberg a disgruntled ex-employee or a true whistleblower? One thing is for sure, no matter what the app, always check and see how much of your personal information is being accessed and when. It's easy to get comfortable with the idea that you're just always being watched, but the question is by who and why? Constant vigilance, or is such thinking paranoia? Share your thoughts on all of that and more down below. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned here on I.O. Bye bye.